I'd like to have a little chat with you this morning. Need your feedback. Coming up next on Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. It was our first mug. Dream big, God is always dreaming bigger. Something my father used to tell me a lot, and something I learned to do, and I want to talk about that a little bit today. The best coffee, HEADBANGERS BREW, our very own blend. Where Have You Been is our fall blend. Limited time. We're about ready to introduce our winter blend pretty soon. Some of you are having winter. It's getting cold out there. And of course you can get that and all of our mugs and our posters and our t-shirts right here. wearemedal.wearefamily.com. Well, I just want to speak from the heart a little bit today. You know, there are times when I feel like there's something pivotal going on. And I want to give you kind of my heart on this podcast and the ministry in general. So I've been doing some kind of a broadcast since the 70s, 1970s. I know, it's a long time ago. And I've been involved with this for a very long time in one form or another, whether it's radio or whatever. And for the last 12 years, it's been a video podcast. Started out as Pastor Bob Daily for 8 years, 9 years, whatever it was, and then became Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. Something I've been doing almost every day since that time. And before that, I had an audio podcast that we did all the time as well. And you know, it's important, folks, that I stay on the edge of where I feel like I need to be, and that I'm at a place that I can achieve what I need to do. Yesterday, things just got too busy. I didn't even have time to podcast, and I didn't have something ready. And when I say I didn't have something ready, sometimes when I turn on the camera, I don't have a full idea of what I'm about to say. Sometimes I only have a scripture and a title and a question, and I just go from there. I realize that we're coming to the end of the year. I'd like to start fresh with things January 1st. I'm not sure what to do with this podcast. I'm not so sure that we need to continue it. And if I don't continue it, I need to put something in its place, and I don't know what that looks like. I've had people that say, well, Pastor Bob, I've been following you for years, and I hear you repeat the same things. And yes, I do. After thousands of podcasts, and even more thousands of broadcasts in some way, many of them still out there, many of them you hear on radio, my 3-minute moment, Pastor Bob, no, what is it called? Sanctuary Minute or something. Can't remember the name of it now, but that's still going out there. It's a daily thing people still listen to. And so there are a lot of options, and I've thought about them. Maybe I'll do an audio podcast again, and I could do it from my daily Devo book and read the Devo of the day and, you know, have some fun with that. Or I thought maybe I don't need to do a video or an audio podcast, maybe in daily email where you get the devotional for the day and just different interesting things that we could do and send it out every day on an email list. Or maybe all of the above. I don't quite have the staff for that. One of the other problems is that I don't feel like my podcast is, well, it's not up to par where it ought to be visually. And most of that is because I'm doing it myself. And I don't have those kinds of skills. I really am not a technical person, even though I use computers all day long. I'm not graphically technical. I don't have that same eye that Jason or Hayden or some of our staff that is so good at this, that they have. But I wish I had more skill in editing and making things a little more visually pleasing. I just don't have those skills, and I don't have anyone around me who does. And so, do I try to find somebody that has those skills that would be willing to put in the time? There isn't a budget for it. This is not a low budget ministry. It's mostly a no budget ministry. You know, the homeless ministry and all of that really take precedence and take our finances, which is cool. And moving forward, and we are moving forward, there's a lot of exciting things happening with Sanctuary internationally. And I can't wait to begin to tell you about them and where we feel like we're going with it. I've never had a time where my vision has been larger than it is right now. I'm still dreaming very big. But as far as this podcast is concerned, I'm not sure where to take it, and that's why I need your help. So I'd like you to comment today. I'd like you to comment on two things. Number one, how often do you watch the podcast? Should I be doing it every day? Should I be doing it once a week? Should I be doing something completely different? So that's number one. And number two, what would you like to see me do? You know, after all of these years, I feel like I've covered almost everything at least 5 times, you know? And yet the questions keep coming in, and there are many times repeat questions. They're questions I know you have. I could also just play a lot of my old podcasts, and, you know, people would see many of them, many of you would see them for the first time. I do a Wednesday live show, and I've had trouble booking people. Mostly it's my fault because I don't have time to do it. If I had somebody that was a booking agent and could say, would you be on the show this week? They've been successful. A lot of people are watching. We've had a great time on the air. I don't have one for this week because I don't have anyone to be on the show right now. And again, that's partly my fault because I haven't had time to really reach out to a lot of people. And the ones that I reached out to this week weren't able to. So unless I get a little more of I have a great producer, engineer, John Cassandro, but I need somebody to book things and to help with that part of it. And I'm not so sure that that's something that people want to see. Would you like to see more live programming? Because we can certainly do it. We're going to be going to a lot more, doing a lot more on our weekends. We've been doing things once a month. We're going to step that up, and we'll have those live things that we can broadcast also if people would like to see them. So there's a lot of things that we could be doing, but I need some help in deciding what you'd like to see. I don't want to just put something out there that isn't what people want. And I know that this particular podcast needs to evolve. Evolve into what? I have no idea. So I want you to write this down. Please, all of you that are watching right now, even if you haven't watched very often, I'd like you to first of all tell me how often you watch this podcast, and be honest, because that will determine how often I do it and how often I need to do it. And then secondly, what would you suggest moving forward? If we could do anything in the way of podcasting, broadcasting, video podcast or audio podcast, whatever it might be, what would you suggest that we do? What would you like to see? And then maybe there's a third one too. We're being ramped down a lot on some social medias. Some of you are watching on YouTube, some of you are watching on Facebook. We've had a lot of problems with both. We're also on Rumble, we're also on X, we're also on Truth, we're also on Telegram, and some more. But the main ones continue to be YouTube and Facebook, and those become more and more difficult as we see politically things changing, and my podcast is not political, but in that larger sense, spiritually, Religious broadcasting is also under attack quite a bit. And so I know that the future of this podcast also depends on the social media platform that I'm on. So do I try to get people to move to a new platform? Do we continue to expand and provide more community for you? Would you like to be able to have a central place to jump in and just talk to people? Would you like to see more of an email type of a thing where we kind of make Substack our foundation, and we send out a daily email with the video if we have one, but especially Pastor Bob's, my devotional for the day, Metal Devo from the book. And if that's a popular thing and the book is sold very well, I might even consider doing book number 2, because I think we have plenty of material to do that. And I have several other books I'm working on right now, trying to get finished and definitely not meeting my deadlines. So you can kind of see where I'm at. And I really need you today to comment. So would you do that? And let's talk about this. Let's make some plans as we go forward, and we're going forward, and we're going forward with a lot. I'd like to know what your role is in moving forward. If you'd like to be involved, let me know. If you just have some ideas on where we ought to take this, let me know that too. I'm going to read everything you write, and I'm going to respond to every single one of them. Now, for me to take the time to respond and to do all of that, I may not have a podcast every single day this week, but this is a deciding week. We're going to figure out where we're going. All right. Thank you, folks, for watching. I can't tell you how much I enjoy doing this and spending time with you. God bless you. Don't forget, you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.